currently going through their warm-up. This was the Russian team looking in fine fettle and with a few additions as well. Notably, Maxim Mikhailov, the opposite player, having come into the team, having missed the preliminary rounds. And also Artem Volvic as well, another huge player who normally plays opposite Muzerski as the key middle blocker for Russia. Number 4 just coming down the stairs. This was the introduction of the teams earlier and having their traditional pre-tournament photo. The head coach, Sergei Shelepnikov, knows his team should be able to perform here. This was Poland arriving. Vital Hanen in charge of Poland. It's been a team that have had plenty of opportunities to play within the squad. It must be said, Vital Hanen has mixed the team up. Everyone's had a go, and the top scorer, Artur Shalpak, the only player to go over 100 points so far for his country in the preliminary rounds. The two teams met earlier on. It was, in fact, it was in week 1, and it was Poland who beat Russia by 3 sets to 0. Vital Hanen very happy with the way his team got off to a very positive start. However, they only just scraped through to the final 6, to these finals, having made such a good start. But they're here. They're up against Russia, who finished 2nd in the preliminary rounds behind the hosts, France. And I'm delighted to be joined by Mark Lebedew, Australia head coach. Mark, lovely to have you here this week. Really looking forward to your expert analysis and insight into these teams, having faced them as the head coach for Australia. And looking at these two teams here, what are you looking from, or what are you expecting from them?
Well, first, Clayton, thanks for the introduction. It's great to be here. I remember Poland's qualification match because it was the last match of the rounds against Australia. So there was a bit of pressure on the Polish team to qualify in their last game, but they were able to beat us and to get through. Today will be a really tough match. The Polish team, as always, is under pressure to perform in every world event. This is the first event for Vital Hanen as head coach, so he'll be personally also looking to get off to a good start in his tenure as the Polish national team coach. The Russians have brought in 2 big-name guys, more or less, for their first appearance in the tournament, in Mikhailov and Volvic. So we'll see if they're on the court from the beginning or whether they start off with the guys who have got them here.
Well, we just had a look at the line to the 2 pools. We've seen the matchups that are coming this week. This was the coin toss earlier on between the 2 captains. Paulo Turchi, the first referee from Brazil, in charge of that coin toss. Poland it was who won the toss. And it will be Russia who will serve. This is the head-to-head between them. Russia over Poland, 32 victories to 18. And, well, looking at the form of the two teams at the moment, Russia perhaps favourites for this one. This is their previous meetings in the VNL. It was Poland who had that 3-0 victory, but as was mentioned just at the top of the broadcast, Russia not up to full strength. Poland definitely were, and with the likes of the players we've got, it could well be a very exciting tie. This is the head-to-head, and some of the players to look out for Russia. Muzerski, 185 points, 2 meters and 18. He really has been a dominating force. And these are some of his best bits going through the middle. Teams have found him very difficult to stop.
Yeah, he's one of the guys, one of the very few middles that is really a threat in every part of the game, in attack, in block, also in serve. And the Russians rely on him a lot, and he hits a lot more balls than the typical middle. They look to him even when the reception or the attack is 3 or 4, even sometimes 5 meters from the net, and also in transition. And he has a lot of solutions. He's big, obviously. He sees the game really well, and for me, he's the favourite for the MVP at this point.
Kobzar, the setter for Russia, the man who'll be trying to find Muzeski as often as possible, and he has done very well so far in this tournament. And a player who's done really well in stepping into some very big shoes in the likes of Grankeen and Butko.
Yeah, the Grankeen and Butko have been their main setters for 10 years or more now. Kobzar's been one of the young up-and-comers. He's spent some time in Kazan with the super team there, and it's his first opportunity to really lead the team from the beginning of the tournament to the end, and he's done a really good job until now.
Another player doing a really good job, another youngster as well for Poland, Szalpuk, who's been called upon, and he hasn't let his coach or his country down.
Yeah, Szalpuk has offered a really good season for Belhatov, where they won the championship. He's also had a good season. He's played, I think, the most of all the Polish players as they've rotated through their squad. And I imagine that he'll be an important starter for them tonight.
Well, another player who will have an important role to play as well. In fact, as we look at the Polish team, when you look at Damian Schultz in the opposite slot, could well be called upon. The fans are beginning to file in here to the Pierre Moret Stadium. And they're getting ready, hopefully, for some very exciting volleyball. The warm-up having come to an end. And we will get ready for the national anthems for both teams. We have a few protocols to be observed before the game gets underway. We'll have the players line up. We'll have the anthems, we'll meet the referees, then we'll meet the starting sevens. And sevens it is now with the liberos, the defensive specialists, also being introduced onto the court. So the teams take to the courts, the flag bearers make their way into shot, and it is time for the national anthems of both countries.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I ask you to stand up and rise for the national anthem of Russia.
Mesdames et messieurs, merci de bien vouloir vous lever pour les hymnes nationaux. Nous allons commencer par l'hymne national de la Russie. Et maintenant, place à l'hymne national de la Pologne.
It's always a special moment to represent your country, to be stood there, have the anthem played out for you, and no doubt for these guys as well. There'll be a few nerves, a few butterflies that will need to be put into order, and also for the referees. It's not just about the players, the referees in charge for this one today. Paulo Turchi from Brazil, the first referee, Liu Jiang from China, the second official. They say shaking hands in the dark, but they know where they are and what they have to do as they find their places. This is what happens during the preliminary rounds for these teams. That was then. This is now the teams making their way out onto court. We'll start with Russia. And it's number 1. Number 3, Dmitry Kovalev, will be setting. Number 4, Artem Volvic will be going through the middle, straight into the action. For Volvic, who's not played much of the preliminary rounds. Number 7, Dmitry Volkov going through the middle. Number 13, Dmitry Muzersky also going through the middle, so it does mean that Volkov is going to be in a different slot to that. It's a very different lineup. In fact, looking at this for Russia, Igor Kliuka making his way out onto court, and Maxim Mihailov as well. That's the lineup that Shliapnikov has gone for. Now it's time for Poland to make their way out onto court. Bartosz Kurek will be starting in the opposite slot with number 6. It's Gregorz Łomacz who gets the nod in the setting slot ahead of Zizka. Number 14, Alexander Shvivka is going for the outside. It's number 15, Jakub Kokanovski through the middle. 18, Bartosz Kovalev through the outside. And the captain, number 20, Matthias Mieniek, is going through the middle. Starting libero, number 17, Pavel Zatorski. That's who Halen has gone for. Some interesting starting lineup, some interesting players on display for this one.
Yeah, it's, first surprise was when Kovalev came out. He's played a little bit over the course of the tournament, but for him to play straight away in such a big match is a little surprise. That Mikhailov and Volvic are straight into the action. That's to be expected. And Volkov, who was one of the star players at last year's European Championships, will round up a pretty strong lineup for Russia.
This is how Poland are lining up.
Yeah, that's a strong group as well, with Kwolek and Kokanovski, 2 junior world champions from last year. They're the future of Polish volleyball. That they're already starters is a really positive sign for them, and I expect them to be good today.
It's Russia in red serving, Poland in the blue and white receiving. This is the first game from the FIVB Men's Volleyball Nations League Finals here in Lille, France. And the first point goes the way of Poland.
Straight away they found Kokanovski in the middle. He's got a lot of solutions there. He doesn't always have to hit it hard, and he found some way to find the floor straight away.
Swifka back to the serving line. That's a good serve from him. Russia under a bit of pressure here. Free ball for Poland. Nice put away from Kurek.
That's a tough little float serve from Schlifke. It's tough also because he can make the fast topspin serve, so the receivers have to be a little bit deeper in the court, and straight away the Poland get a free ball that they can easily convert.
New addition to the technology, we've got a little couple of cameras just under the first referee, so we'll be able to see some good close-up action of the swings on the right side of court. We've also got a net cam here as well, in the top of the net, both sides. We'll get some shots from that as Russia get their side out, courtesy of Volkov.
Of Team Russia.
Yeah, Volkov straight away goes over the block.
I think for Poland, they can expect to get plenty of that against them today with the height and strength of this Russian side, but so too Poland have opportunities in certain areas to do a similar thing. Early call and a good leave by Poland. That one was chasing the sideline.
Yeah, he's gone for the change-up serve straight away. I'm pretty sure they weren't ready for that one, but he didn't find the sideline this time.
Good leave for Russia. So both teams still testing each other out here, although saying that, Poland with the slight advantage as Volvic goes back to serve for Russia. The block in the middle from Mazerski, committing on Bieniek.
Yeah, I think that one might have been headed out before Kwolek got a piece of it. But right away we can see 2 times Womack had the chance at first tempo and 2 times he set it.
Just how important is it to establish your middle blockers?
Well, the first thing is that the middle's the easiest way to score. So the more you can set him, the better off you are.
Maybe a challenge coming here for Russia. They think that ball is in. So indeed, we are going to have our first challenge of the finals as to whether or not the ball was in or out. Russia believe it was in.
I think that they might be right on the baseline.
2 challenges per set. If it's successful, they still have 2. If it's unsuccessful, they lose 1 challenge. Ball in or out.
Miles in.
Successful challenge to Russia.
Maybe not Miles.
So they still have 2 challenges.
So a successful challenge from Russia. Volvic will get to serve again. It didn't appear as if he was really ready for that one, having to make some late adjustments. Nice blocking from Russia.
Volvic's serve is a really good serve. It's hard and fast. It has the receivers always moving backwards, which is a good start.
Nice swing this time for Poland. They get their side out.
It's the first spiking action from Kwolek. He's for an outside hitter, he's a little guy, but he's got really good range and he's a really tough player.
Correct now with the serve. An easy leave, that one for Kliuka. That sends Mihailov now back to the serving line. Good ball in. Under the circumstances from a really tough serve, and it's Russia who've got it into transition. And this is going to be a down ball, and Poland might have another chance here to try and score. Good dig. And still the rally keeps going. Well, that was audacious to say the least, and it's still in play. And it's going to be a net touch against Poland. Well, an extraordinary rally. It looked to be over halfway through, and somehow the ball stayed in play. It's Especially when Womack tried to make that reverse set off his knees to the middle.
Yeah, it was a pretty scrappy rally. There weren't that many good actions, really, but and kind of fitting that he should end on a net touch.
Calling the timeout.
Where's your defense position? Where's your defense?
Womack just said was pretty ambitious, to say the least, and I think Polish coach agrees.
Apologies for the language from Ditzel Heinen, if you heard that. It is the emotion of high-level sport as we have a look at the rally. Just 28 seconds in the rally, which, as you quite rightly said, was rather scrappy. Didn't end on a high note, and certainly for Heinen, he's not hitting a high note at the moment with his players. Letting Womack know he's not where he should be defending from.
La Russie, la Pologne.
Russia leading by 3. Siding out by Kurek, getting it off with Kliuka.
Yeah, it's a nice swing from Kurek. He struggled on the first couple, but they're pretty much in system, and is able to get it in the seam and inside Museski.
With that one, you get 8 seconds. He didn't do that much. Very well, didn't look really comfortable with it. Just making that from that, he wasn't happy with the toss of the ball as we head into the technical timeout.
The Polish don't like to make a lot of errors, especially in serve. So Ditzel Heinen would be disappointed. They already have 3 service errors into the first technical timeout. But for sure, part of that's the nervousness of the occasion and the wanting to put pressure on the other team. I expect they'll settle down a little bit from here, but they've given themselves a little hole at the beginning.
The fans getting involved. Some of the terminology, some of the things that are being used here at the finals of the BNL. The monster block, we'll see plenty of those, and the super spike. We'll also see a few of those, no doubt, during the course of this set.
I think the audience participation part really adds something to the atmosphere. You can see the crowds, especially over the course of the weekend, they really start to get into it by the second and third day. And the teams can feel the atmosphere on the court.
You are the experts. Keep it going. After the technical timeout, Russia in lead by 3.
Nice ball through the middle. Bieniek getting past Museski.
Yeah, there's another chance for first tempo, and Bieniek is a pretty good hitter in his own right, and almost as big as Museski.
Jumping one way, Bieniek going back the other. Poland still a couple behind. Bieniek can cause problems with his serve. This jump float he can turn into a jump serve. Good up from Poland. Free ball back for Russia. 2 front court options, 2 back court options. Museski this time just hammers it even harder. It doesn't come back.
That's a play that we'll see often. If Museski doesn't score the first ball, they nearly always give it back to him in the same rally, and he nearly always scores the second time. You can't give that man 2 attempts.
Museski now then to the serving line. Continuation block. Poland go again. Correct. Watch the block. Poland to have the point.
Yeah, again, it looks like they closed the line a little bit against Kurek, and he's able to hit against the middle blocker who's not quite in good position.
This time, Kurek is shut down. That's a monster block. It's the first one. It's one-on-one as well. Straight down.
And Volkov knows that it was a monster block.
Kovalev with the serve. Surprise starter for this one. That's a very nice put away. As you rightly said, the middle's being used in almost every opportunity for Poland.
Yeah, it is interesting that with Volvic and Maseski are two really high-class middles, and yet the Polish tactic is to really take it to them in the middle of the court, and it's mostly been successful.
Trouble for Russia. A bit of miscommunication, perhaps.
Yeah, I think Kovalev was looking for Volvic there, but hasn't. If it's gone too high or too low, I can't really tell from this angle.
They'll be happy. They're one back. Beginning to find their rhythm now in this opening set. Obviously reacted to the ball that was blocked back his way.
Yeah, the set's dropped a little bit short, given Mikhailov no real chance to spike that ball, and Kurek's hang time has let him really throw that one straight down.
All square now between Poland and Russia. And despite the best efforts of the match, it's Russia who had the side out. Hayden happy with where Wormatch was defending at the time, even though it didn't come back in play. Giving him a lot of approval. Playing some smart volleyball, and he's frustrating Kliuka at the moment.
Yeah, that set wasn't very good, was too far off the net and out of Kurek's rhythm, but he solved it.
Big blocking substitution is for Poland, a little extra height in the net for them. Despite the introduction of Lemansky, Russia get their side out.
Yeah, Lemansky is the same height as Maseski. He's not quite as big, but he's way up there.
Volvic, holding serve that he has from 5 to 5. Ball hit the floor before Poland came through the net. It's Poland's point.
That was a rotation that they struggled in last time and lost a series of points, so that they could get straight out of it will give them confidence.
Put it now to serve. This level of volleyball, the jump serve is king when it goes in. Do you worry too much when the guys don't find their mark?
Yeah, as with everything, there's a balance in it. You need to put pressure on, but you can't make too many mistakes.
There's a chance maybe for Russia, as that ball was slowed down by the block. It's Poland to take the ball. Russia take the point. Russia stood around watching as this one hits the floor.
Yeah, that's the third time in a row Kurek's been able to hit off the middle who wasn't in a good position.
Olek with the serve. Straight over the top of Wormatch. That's a good mismatch in Russia's favour.
Kliuka is one of the most athletic guys in the whole event, and it doesn't really matter who's out there. He can go over everyone.
pass. Russia had it into transition. It's a little tight. And it's been blocked in play. It's gone Russia's way. A challenge coming.
Schlifka really likes to use those kinds of shots, the little tips off the block, using the hands of the outside guy. But I think that the setter was in a good enough position there to look in from here.
Poland have challenged it. It was who tried to get block out.
Where is the ball? 8 more bounce.
Right, it was comfortably in. Russia take the point.
That's 2 for 2 for me. That's better than I do as a coach. Four in a row.
Eric's been playing very well. He's certainly making it really difficult for Russia.
It's a great slow-mo shot. You can see Moseski not close enough to the net.
We head into the second technical timeout. It's Russia leading Poland by 2.
Yeah, Polish really came back in that last period. They got to within 1, or once the side out is, they're still within 1. So they've come back into it. This last period obviously will be decisive, and I think we're set up for a really good finish for this set.
Guys coming out on support. Here are some of their best moments from the set so far.
He will go, then you can go 4 meters in and try something because
Messieurs et mesdemoiselles, tente de danser, c'est le Telscam. Debout, 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 debout.
At the 2 dress rehearsals of this set, now it's down to the real deal. This last third, this race to 25. Moseski with the serve for Russia. They lead by 2. Overpassed. Not put away. Chance here for Poland. Perhaps a better opportunity now. It's off the block and away. Oh, it's been given against Russia.
No, he's tried to go too sharp there inside the block, and he's just caught the top of the tape.
Any part of the block at all, either. Terrible shot from Volkov, and he knows it. It's given Poland the point. They're back to within 1. One match is getting closer. He's made a couple of, that's his second big dig he's made now, but unable to keep it on his side of the court.
The Polish have really been going after Kliuka in the float serve, and he's been a little bit shaky, but they've been able to side out the last few times.
Carry against Poland. Very unhappy with that attack through the middle.
Yeah, you don't see that one called too often. They could, on the same basis, they could easily have called the one from Korek a little bit earlier. It's probably still a fair call.
80s volleyball, referee not happy with it. New middle attack coming here for Poland. Nice work from Kurek. Russia knew he was going to try and do something with it. They didn't count on him just playing it straight to the middle of court.
Yeah, The third blocker didn't get up close, didn't get close enough. Gave him the alley that he could attack the middle of the court. Yeah, float serve on Kliuka again. Again, he's in difficulty with reception. And I think this might have hit Schliefka where it hurts.
He had to play it as well. It caught the block on the way through. If you don't get the ace, you get the overpass, the next best thing. Russia beginning to get further away from Poland now in this opening set. Easy put away that for Kliuka. Poland call their second and last timeout of this set.
Okay, the whistle the ball, but good play on first tempo. We have to do that. Yeah, spiking we are great. Yeah, just stupid. Why overpassing? No overpassing. We have
Sometimes they have the microphones. Often they have the microphones
The float is
in the
effective.
timeouts.
Float
But
on Kliuka is
I'd be interested
effective.
to hear what
Guys,
Vince
so go.
has to say.
So we play, but we don't believe it, guys.
Although that is a normal state of events for him. Really good action on the first one from Pollack to get the free ball, playing a block out. But on the easier one, he's gone for too big an angle. And now we see Shelbrook, who we were expecting to see from the start. Hopefully for Poland, he can bring some stability to their reception.
I think that was in. It's been given as out. They may well challenge this.
At the risk of spoiling my perfect record, I would challenge that too.
Challenged it. They think it's in.
It's their second one. If the ball is in, it's an ace. And another successful challenge to Russia. If it's out,
decision. It's a great challenge. It's successful. It's an ace for Russia.
And that one was miles in.
We'll go back to serve again. Russia now has 8 points to take this opening set. Sorry. He's on a hat-trick now.
I never apologise for the net tape aces because if I could do it all the time, I would.
It's one of those things was that when it first happened, everyone was a little bit apologetic. Now it's sitting the front part of the game. So yeah, you do it all the time, right?
I just hope that Volkov hasn't used up all his different celebrations already in the first set.
Changes for Poland. It's a double substitution. Shushka's coming. Let's go onto the bench, so too as well. Russia, though, just a couple of side outs, and they'll wrap this set up. It may not come back. Oh, good dig. And somehow, Poland come up with the point. It's all over him. Zeski had that swing on the second touch.
It's a very rare occasion that Maseski has two swings in one rally and Russia don't win it, but that was a really great dig from Zatorsky, just standing his ground, putting his hands behind it, and Muzo didn't get a great set, but it was an excellent solution.
This hit dealt with. Poland have it in transition again. But it's an unforced error for Poland. Russia take the first set, 25-18. It's a solid start for them in the finals of the Volleyball Nations League here in Rio.
Except for a part in the middle of the set there, Russia really dominated the set. And I thought that Poland found a rhythm in the middle section, but it's really great service series from Volkov. A couple of aces there, put the set beyond Poland's reach. That last action from Muzai against Maseski is the kind of thing that you see a lot when Maseski's at the net, where he affects the game without touching the ball. Spiker saw him coming, thought that he had to go for something extra, and that extra meant that he didn't get a good contact and forced it out of court. So that doesn't count as a block point for Maseski, but it's a sign of his influence on the game.
Here are the highlights then from the first set. Just the start then that Russia wanted, and without having to have Kobzar on court as well, they'll be delighted that they got that opening set. Some starts in the future perhaps watching on, and no doubt as well the youngsters to see their heroes later on. Let's take on Brazil. Right, go back out on support for the start of the second set. No changes for Russia. Shalpak is staying on court for Poland. Womack goes back onto court as well in the setting slot. So we get ready to get the second set underway. Womack with the serve. Straight through the middle. Single side for Russia.
When the reception is perfect like that, the setter's at his maximum jump. Bobic just goes straight over the top.
Jump setting puts an enormous amount of time pressure on the opposition blockers as opposed to setting from the floor.
Yeah, Greg after a slow beginning had a really good first set, ended up hitting seven spiking points, was able to use the block that time, the outside blocker. A lot of the first set he was going after the middle blocker. The Polish have been really good with their serving tactics. They've hit on the float serve, they've really hit Kliuka every single time.
Identified him as a weak link in the passing for Russia. Frustration still for Womack, defending at position 1.
The question we had about Mikhailov's rhythm, having had a few weeks off, is I think has been answered so far. Those last two side outs have been really convincing.
So that could have gone anywhere. That's a hit the top of the table.
Yeah, those ones are real 50-50s. They can bounce anywhere. And it ended up being slower off the net than Lemansky was ready for. Oh, there we go.
Absolutely no chance for Lemansky. Oh, great pickup. Free ball back for Poland. Continuation block, still on his feet. Fantastic rally, a mega rally. It's Poland who take the point.
Yeah, it was a really great action, defensive action from Mikhailov the first time. It's an underrated part of his game, how good he is and how committed he is in not just in serving and spiking. He really gets after it in defense. Moseski touches the ball in the block without getting off the ground.
Fair when you can do that.
Certainly puts added pressure on the spikers.
Correct now with the serve for Poland.
It looked like he was trying to go over Womack there. Maybe that wasn't the best shot in the end.
Serve again. All square at the moment for a piece.
The problem when you take the pressure off the serve to try to reduce the error rate is when you continue to make errors, and you put no pressure on the other team and make errors, and that makes things doubly bad.
Off the block. They try to bluff.
The bluffing doesn't work as well as it used to back in the old days. Now sometimes the players will try to convince each other that they should challenge.
Well, everybody stopped playing because they thought that the point was going to go against Russia for reaching over. And then when it did come back over, Russia just wants to hit the floor.
You definitely have to play to the whistle, especially on balls like that where the referee can interpret it in a couple of different ways. And there's no real reason for the Polish to argue this point. They won it. Let's move on.
Unsurprisingly, but I mean, trying to have a conversation with the first referee. They said they won the point already. It's done. And let's go with the serve. Just about to set Volvic.
The connection between Kovalev and the spikers doesn't seem to be there, but they're able to score enough points to keep a small lead here. That one's gone down the front of the outside blocker. It's off the middle. They're all reaching a little bit too high against Kurek, and he's not hitting as high over the net as they're expecting.
Goodness me, that is a super spike. It's a warm-up here for Volvic through the middle.
Kliuka, with all the reception practice that he's getting, is getting into a little bit of rhythm there, and Kovalev's gone straight back to Volvic, and this time he's in the perfect spot for him.
Hey guys, feel it, we are playing. What do you defense? You see? One step right. I said nothing. Can the non-blocker go for the tip? And I move a little bit back. Volkov on in far. Volkov in far. Non-blocker takes the tip. We need to be ready for the pushes. No. Because you never defend the line. No, but this. Let him hit out. You never defend the line. You never defend.
Volvic with the serve.
Another great tip from Kurek. It's gone straight up, taking advantage of the block not being in position. They're a little bit undisciplined in all their blocking against Kurek. Polish decided to test Volkov that time. and his reception was good enough, and it's easy to just touch it up there somewhere where Museski can have a swing.
When you look at Museski, you didn't have to, as head coach Australia, didn't have to deal with Volvic in the preliminary rounds. How did you go about trying to?
We didn't have Volvic, but we had Vlasov, which was almost as good. But the one thing that was difficult for us was the difference between Vlasov and Museski. They're both really big, but they're completely different. We just tried to move our defense around for Museski, and hopefully we can dig something.
Russia working the block. Between the two teams, it's a pretty evenly balanced second set. It was for a little bit of a first. Although it was, he got it off the block in a way. Luka back to the serving line. Match off and running. Just slowing the ball down and a chance to attack.
Nice control by Volkov there. He just delayed his attack a little bit, waited for the block to come down a fraction, and got the edge of the middle blockers inside hand, outside hand.
Kliuka. Actions correct. It's just toying with Russia's block at the moment.
Ironically, the first attack in the rally was the first time that he didn't hit the block and they dug it. The next one is close to the net, and on the high ball, often it's better to be close to the net where you can play something, block out like that last one from Kurek. There's really a difference between the one that Volkov hit earlier in the rally, that the block was able to make a positive touch, and then the one that looks like it's too close is actually the better set. Flashback to the previous one that he said one-handed to Museski, and as it's coming, I'm thinking maybe that's even too high, and hitting it yourself is cuts out the middleman.
Points so far then for Museski in the game. Might have held another one. He's not going to challenge it.
I would have challenged that even if I wasn't 3 for 3. The ones on the baseline are the ones that are often overturned.
Oh, brilliant serve. Vieniek, one of the players to kind of really change the jump serve into the jump serve without changing his run. It's being copied by an awful lot of Polish players. An example of that there was the shot that looked like he was going to go with a jump float and then just turned it into that jump serve. So difficult to deal with.
The receivers are really close to the net, ready for the float serve that they're trying to take on their hands. But we've seen the whole rest of the match up until now. So they're a prime target for the one that's a little bit faster, that goes a little bit deeper, and you could see they had no chance if the timing is right. And then they have to move back to cover the topspin ball, and then the float serve has some different angles. They didn't take advantage that time, but we can see it later on.
Coming, Hayden believes that one was in down the line. fascinating to see how the challenge system changes the game. All the good, in the most part, gives us a fair decision. You get the right outcome more often than not. But also one thing we were able to see, you don't see with the naked eye when you see it in the actual videos, how much the ball compresses down onto the floor. But when you're just watching it in normal time, here, that's out.
It really compresses it a lot, much more than you expect. In some sense, you don't get that with you don't see that exactly with the Hawkeye. Some other leagues where they use the video for challenge, you can see how far the ball actually almost rolls along the ground.
Hawkeye take the video image and they showing us to see the animation. That shadow is very showing as side. Double substitution coming. Match coming in. Correct coming in. There goes Rusia. So this is
the other thing that challenge changes is it takes away a lot of the unpleasantness and the bad feelings between the players and the referees. There's no reason to challenge and argue anymore because you can find out the correct answer really fast. So for me, it makes the game also a better spectacle. And if you watch a game in a league that doesn't have the challenge, it looks sometimes a little bit like a free-for-all.
That's where the referees are also challenged. They're unsure. They can request a challenge themselves. It has made a huge difference for the better. That's a great serve from Russia.
The float serve from Volvic comes from such a high point that it's coming at a really uncomfortable angle, and Satorsky slid in behind her but gave himself nowhere to move his arms on it.
Allez, mesdames et messieurs, cette fois-ci, on va vous apprendre ce qui va se passer pendant un ace.
By 2 in the 10 on time.
Il avait des trois qui précédaient par
It's incredible, isn't it? That jump float serve. Players we've just seen heavily as effective. Jump serve.
I follow those things pretty closely in different leagues and different seasons, and for the most part the jump serve is still the more effective serve, even taking into account the number of errors. But one interesting thing about this year's VNL is it's the first time that I've noticed, or that since I've been following closely, that the overall effectiveness of the float serve is better than the jump serve. And the couple of series that we've seen here with Schaupuk serve, with Volvic serve, with one series in the first set, it can really keep the pressure high.
Volvic looking to keep that pressure on. Return from the second technical, and he's done that. No middle attack coming in. Tripling up and making the block. That's another element of Russia's game. If they can get 3 blockers out, they generally do.
Their triple blocking is excellent. Obviously, Russians are known for a long period of their history as a great blocking team. And when you have a guy like Kliuka who can come and be the third guy there, it really makes it tough for the hitters.
No chance for Poland as that ball is overpassed. Kliuka, who just made a block, now comes up to deliver the point from the spot, to give them putting away that overpass, and it's a 4-point lead now for Russia, and Poland understandably calling a timeout.
Right there is what we were talking about in the last break about the float serve. The Volvic float serve is really tough. It puts so much pressure on the receivers that doesn't let up. The jump serve can take the pressure off the receiver sometimes, even though the fear factor is high by errors creeping in. Here the receivers know they have to receive another one. It's going to be another rocket. It's going to be floating. It's going to be on their arms. And maybe one more in this series that could be the end of the set.
Given how hard some of the guys can hit these jumps, preferences for swing hitters, I see John Floats is still trying to deal with a jump serve.
jump float serves also want to get the ball fast, but with float, obviously. We spend a lot of time timing the serves, and we can get up to 65 kilometers an hour on the serve that's moving around.
Quite incredible skills from Muzeski to kick that one into play. And then Kurek with a really big hit to the line, getting past Kaliuka.
One of the few times that he's hit clean past the block. It's a great heads-up play from Muzeski. Especially for a big guy, he stays in the game the whole time, even with his feet. But it wasn't enough to win that rally.
Nice blocking from Poland. Much better from there. Sucked up the pressure from Russia, came back with an excellent shot to the line. Back into this set.
Kovalev doesn't seem comfortable setting the first tempo, even though he has such big weapons there in Muzeski and Volvic.
Линию держим. Они придут к вам, линию держим, не бросаемся во все направления. Все, прием.
Back to within one in the second set. Fighting hard. Russia looking to get the side out to keep it 2 deep. They can, and they've got it.
That one's a bit of a heartbreaker, especially on a float serve when you're on a series like that, to make the error after the timeout. Doesn't make them pay that.
Off the hook. Still needing to find a point on service or a block defense to get back on level terms. Adjust their serve-receive unit. They understood, realised that Kaliuka was going with a little jump float. Okay.
The serve ended up not being quite strong enough to put them under pressure, and not enough of a surprise to get them out of position. So they were able to side out pretty easily in the end. It's 3 errors in a row after the timeout for Poland, when they're starting to put pressure on the Russians and really start to make them think about the end of the set. That time Kovalev didn't use the middle. The Polish were ready for the ball to the outside, but it's a little bit too fast, and Volkov gets on it too fast. is having maybe his best game for the tournament so far. He's really been unstoppable out there. The Russians haven't been able to close the block on him, really make him change his shot at all. They're really making it tough on Kliuka. He's ending up in all sorts of strange body positions. Almost makes ball handling errors on half of them, but they're just high enough, they're just in position enough that Kovalev can get them to the outside guys who are starting to score really well.
For Poland.
This time they read it better, they put up a better block, and Kurek's responded by hitting the spot on the court that he hasn't hit until now. So good adjustment by Russia and even better adjustment by Kurek.
Substitution for Poland. Schultz has come in. Going to the bench for the moment. Slivka. With the serve. Kurek having a great game.
And again, they've put him right on top of the net, giving him a chance to see the block, use the hands, and take the point.
Если контратака, внимание с Куроком. Сразу съем.
It's a new one. Bring the guys back on the goal, ladies and gentlemen.
For the moment. Enjoying it and also enjoying the volleyball watching as well. Best chance now for Russia to take the set, to do it from side out. It's done emphatically so by Muzeski as he belts that one down, and Russia take the second set. 25-23, and they lead Poland by 2 sets to nothing.
I wonder if the Russian coach actually called that timeout deliberately because of the previous time round when Slivka was on a roll with the serve, had a series of break points and then made the error. And you could see after that timeout, he took a little bit off the serve. It was an easier serve. It didn't hit the target, went to Volkov instead of Kliuka, and easy reception, easy set, and Muzeski gets maybe his first point for the set. So that's the fine line that you run by taking pressure off the serve, by making less errors. You can put yourself into really difficult situations. So, like everything, it's a balance, and Slivka was on the wrong side of not making an error there.
Coming up with 2 aces and 1 block in the set, already managing 1 ace. Russia leading by 2 sets to nothing. Here are the highlights from the set. So this is the spike hit points from Russia, which that's what it does go to show. So those of you that are watching in the preliminary rounds and looking at that, you get to see where the ball's been hit from. Sometimes you get to see the height at which these guys are operating out. And one thing that Hawkeye has shown us, which I found fascinating, we get stats on the players. We get to see their spike heights and their block heights, which are very, very impressive indeed. We're talking spike heights in excess of 350, sometimes 360, and block heights at 345. But in actuality, in the game, it's far less than that. It's around about sort of 330, 326, 327.
It really depends on where you measure it from, and that's a little bit unclear to me how they measure it, because when the testing happens that you see in the program and on the screen, it's a straight contact in the top of the finger, but obviously the ball doesn't hit the top of the finger when you spike, so it's not exactly clear to me where they actually spike from.
Third set underway. It's Russia leading by 2 sets to nothing and by a point to nothing. Also where Poland could perhaps get back into this one.
I think the other outside hitters need to step up a little bit. It's been really only Korek who's been effective from the outside. A little bit more pressure on the serve. They've got their serving target. They're making some problems for Kliuka, but they're not converting those into points consistently.
With the serve for Russia. Good up. Poland come again. On the sideline, nice work from Poland.
They stayed calm in transition there. Zatorski got a hold of the first contact, made it a little bit easy, and Kochanovsky on the second attempt for Poland could score pretty easily.
Touch by Shelby in the first instance to slow the ball down, and in transition, he's the man to put it away.
Volkov actually wasn't ready to get that first attack. He saw the reception close to the net and thought he would said it would go first tempo. Which he does the second time.
Was out, but it was a little bit too late to get out of the way of it. And that's off the block in a way. Nice shot, but well worked by Poland. Great side out under immense pressure from that serve.
If you can hit the high against the line blocker, or in that case in between the line blocker, that's normally a weak part in the defense. It's a tough shot to hit, but if you can do it, it's really often a point.
Russia will take the points.
2 tips in one rally from Kliuka. The first one was a really good tip. It put a lot of pressure on the Polish defense. They were only able to give a free ball over. And the second one was kind of just showing off.
There's a little bit of Enkapeth going on.
Maybe there's something in the water here.
Shelpuk, he's got that off the hands in a way. Smart hitting from Poland, and just as you were saying, the outsides need to get involved, need to start coming up with points. That's exactly what they're doing.
A couple of great hits from Shalford there. The worst thing you can do on a high ball is hit against the middle blocker. He's hit one against the line blocker, one against the third blocker. And given them a chance for a break point now.
A rare error from Mihailov. Kurek gets himself set for the serve. That looked to be on Poland's side when Kliuka played it. And then Kurek going for hands that disappeared in front of him. Russia will take the point.
I think it's a good choice by Kurek to hit that ball. It's right in his zone, but the block made a smart move by not blocking. He didn't have a lot of options, and they took away the one that he had.
Change for Poland. Bednosh coming in, going out. Slipka. Chance here for Poland to extend their lead.
That time, Bednosh kept their play alive long enough for them to get another shot at Kurek. Bednosh is much different kind of player than Slivka. He's a right-hander for one. Hits a slightly different part of the court.
Poland can only tip the ball over. Well, this is a really good start to this third set for Poland.
Maybe you can say he could only tip, but maybe that ends up the better option for him. When the ball's close to the net, you can see everything a little bit better. The blocker tends to be less disciplined, and you can see why. Three or four actions from Poland. The high balls to Kurek. The last two fast balls also for Bednosh. The rally before was able to get the ball off the block and keep it in play. The next one, direct tip.
Well, this is Mihailov, his best bits. He started very brightly in this match, but having said that, this third set, a couple of errors. Not quite going the way he would have liked. Still though, quality player.
Mikhailov always seems to be playing quietly. He's such an undemonstrative guy. He's so efficient. There's no histrionics. When he spikes it, there tends not to be rallies. It's just said to him, bang, bang, go back with the next thing, and you look up and the next thing he has 25 points.
Very good swing there from Kliuka. Not even every step approach, just jumped and swung on it. It was all so tight in. There he was, lovely swing.
Yeah, and that's straight over Warmatch. Without an approach, as you said.
This is where Poland needs to be careful now. They've established a good lead in this set. They've got momentum. They don't want to be giving away any silly, unforced errors.
That time the element of surprise from Kliuka was just enough.
With a little back flick. He's obviously been practicing his soccer skills with the World Cup being on right there. But it still doesn't quite work though, as Poland take the point yet again.
Incredibly, his own player wasn't ready for him to do that, even though he did it only 20 minutes ago.
He'll certainly having words with the Libero after that one from Mazeski, no doubt. Sokolov let that ball hit the floor. But Sokolov letting that one go past him. Russia take the point.
I don't know if Sokolov had words from Museski, but he did just from the coach.
Oh, brilliant serve from Museski. A huge ace from him.
That serve down the line, even if you're ready for it, it's really, really difficult to receive. You can't get the ball back to the target, even, as I said, even if you're almost standing on the sideline. So it's a really risky serve to get it close to the line, but if you can get it,
You're on the right side, eh? Yeah. Come and move a bit in.
you can give your
push
team
in
a
and
really
see
good
what's
shot.
It's also an issue for the swing hitter as well on this rotation. This has got his middle blocker that can get in his way slightly just in front of him on that left side of court. Lokanovski's in front side, so it's really important for Ireland that they get a good view of this serve from Museski.
Yeah, if you look at it, he might even be out of rotation there.
Pick it up. Nice covering by Volvic. Oh, but it's good blocking from Poland, giving Russia a taste of their own medicine as they triple up to deny Russia the point.
Volkov looked like he had a pretty good swing there. He's gone again, the seam between the setter and the middle, but Lemansky's reached across and blocked him. Or Kokonovsky, rather.
Deep hit to the baseline. Kokonovsky puts the ball on the floor. Poland staying ahead, staying in the match. One match. One match is getting battered and bruised, holding his position at one. That's all part of the game at this level.
In men's volleyball, on good reception, defense is holding your ground and sometimes just hoping it bounces in the right direction.
Kovalev for Russia. What a swing from Kurek as he gets past Volvic and Mikhailov as if they weren't there.
Yeah, he's really got on that, swung high and into the seam. The look on Volvic's face says it all there.
Volkov looking for touches. The referee gives it to Poland. Russia surely will challenge this one.
Yes, I think the second ref thought that it was touched. The first ref's overruled him, and the Russian coach has gone for the challenge.
Volkov was never looking for the floor. He was always looking to go off the hands. Did he get them?
Yes, he did.
Absolutely did.
That's what the second ref was trying to tell the first ref. The first and second ref have some secret communications between them that if you're looking for, you can see.
A serve, Russia! Off the top of the net.
Turns out Volkov had at least one more celebration left.
Brought a range of serves, a range of celebrations.
And the Russians are really having success by being aggressive and getting, what is it, the third net tape serve.
perhaps a little too hard with that one, Volkov. Roski back to the serving line. Turski goes to sit down for a while. Lemansky into the front row for Poland. What a beauty that was.
That's almost the same spot that Muserski hit. It's definitely the same lane between the receiver and the sideline. And for some reason, Kliuka wasn't expecting a ball in that area. Standing a long way in the court for Kokanovski's serve. That was a little bit better positioning.
Make sure he hits the line this time. I guess this is one of the advantages that Russia have, even when you put them under pressure from the serve and they can't go to their huge middles of Volvic and Muserski. They've got huge weapons elsewhere on court.
It's a really well-balanced team, this group.
Unable to get a meaningful touch. Volvic behind him. He's going to be able to get this one.
After the action, you can see the reaction of the blockers. They're a little bit at a loss what they can do against Kurek. You can, in the stadium here, we can see Muserski and Kliuka looking at the replay, talking amongst themselves what they can do.
Ruska's in to serve. Muzaj also in. Double substitution from Poland. They've made it in the first couple of sets, and it's a commit block from Lemansky. And he puts Muserski down. A bit slow to Muserski. Easy for Lemansky to read.
I think the Russians are calling a challenge. Russians are challenging for a net touch, I think. So the players have to stay on the court while the challenge takes place.
So was it a good block from Lemansky, or did he touch the net in the process? To find out. Will it be, as it is, a 4-point lead for Poland getting into the second 10 minutes?
I'm actually not going to make a prediction on this one.
The ball into the net after it was blocked. No net touch by Lemansky. Poland have a big lead now in this third set.
They found a pretty nice rhythm, the Polish team. The Russians still aren't able to use the first tempo the way they'd like. The rhythm between setter and spike is not what they would expect. And Muserski's actually hasn't had that much of an impact on the game, surprisingly, considering the first two sets have been reasonably clear for Russia.
The opening set, the opening few points, it was non-stop to Muserski and then to Volvic when he came around, but that's certainly not been that much traffic through the middle for Russia. I'll be delighted with that.
Absolutely, that would have been a big part of their game plan to reduce the effectiveness of the middles, whether it's been through their good play or, as we've said, the communication issues on the Russian side. In the end, doesn't really matter.
It's good at B, who will go back to serve. Russia with 3 front court attackers available. Mikhailov, Muserski and Kliuka. Taking a very high line on this serve from Poland. Great work from Kliuka, the ball was behind him.
Yeah, that was a tough set to try to do something with, but quick thinking from Kliuka, and he's such a good athlete. He can see, he can get onto the ball fast and just push it down the front of the ill-formed block.
Muzeski wasn't getting involved. He's into the action.
The Russian receiver started a long way back that time for the sharp hook serve after the topspin one from before. They challenged him to float serve and then stepped in and made a perfect reception.
Change for Russia. Double substitution. Kobzar's coming in, number 23. Joining him on court. It looked like it was Polandia, number 15. And it is. Zeski fires again through the middle.
Straight away you can see the difference in the connection between the two hitters, between the setter and the hitter.
Kobzar's been finding Muzeski all through the preliminary rounds. He finds him again here in the finals. Muzeski now with the serve. Brilliant response from Poland. Kokonowski through the middle. Poland showing no signs of giving this set up.
That time the net tape was to the advantage of the Polish team. Took the heat off the ball, perfect reception.
Nice introduction for Polandia. First swing of the finals for him. First swing of the match.
He's a really atypical Russian in the sense that he's not that big, but he's really fast, jumps really high, gets on the ball fast.
What an incredible angle that was from Kurek.
We've got a really great view of the distance of the set off the net from the commentary position here. The ball's almost on top of the net. And Kurek, with his size, can pretty much hit that where he wants.
Puts the ball down. Volvic is only a word with him through the net. It's him going through the net. It's a great point, this for Poland.
I'm not sure that he hit that with all of his hand, but he's high enough and fast enough that it clears the block and still goes inside the court.
As Poland had called the time.
Taking the line and be careful.
Okay.
Kurek's been having a fine game for Poland. Here's some of his best bits. Going for it, trying to turn the tide in Russia's favour, and then gifting Poland the point. They're on the verge here of getting this third set. What's required.
It still just leaves them 3 side outs to win the set. Well, they've had problems with Volvic's serve. Not this time.
Volvic having problems with his serve. So Russia it is who call the timeout.
Смотрите, потеряли концентрацию. Миллион своих ошибок. Все, собираемся, давайте, настраиваемся. Рабочий счет, парни, рабочий. Надо перейти на планер. Да? Проконтролировать ситуацию. Давайте на сетку борьбу переведем.
Poland's not doing it the easy way at the moment. Oh, a massive serve. Oh, that's wonderful play. Should take another point.
Well, they give Poland now some cause to think for a moment. It's a good work at the net by Kovalev.
That's just what Poland wanted to see. They now have set point. With the serve. Hands on their feet for set point. Zerski making Poland wait just a little bit longer.
Yuka received the topspin serve really well that time. Since the last ace that Sharphook served, they've been standing deeper in the court for him. Ready for that serve.
Set point saved. Still breathing room here for Poland. They won't be panicking just yet, sure. And that's it. The set goes Poland's way. They're back in this match. They've taken the third set, 25-22. It's Russia who lead by 2-1 here in Lyon. Liuka getting caught up between his jump and his jump float, making it easy for Poland. They'll be delighted to have taken the set. So here's the tail of that set. Quite a few errors from Russia. They gave Poland 9 points. And added a couple of blocks and an ace from Poland. Even though Russia outspiked them, it was Poland who took the set.
Pretty comfortably in the end. Kurek is still more or less unstoppable from an opposite spot. they were able to cobble together a few more points from Kokanovsky, from Shalpuk, from Bednoj, and now they feel like they've got a good chance to force it to 5 sets.
Here are the highlights from that last set. Some stats from Hawkeye. This is where Poland have been spiking the ball. Down the line in blue, cross court in red. This is where Russia have been doing a similar thing. Cross court, looks like there's more reds than blues. They've been attacking the cross court more when they have the line.
You need to win 3 sets to win the game. So take care and watch it out. Who will go for the next one? Set number 4 starts right now.
Set 4 about to get underway. Russia are back to their starting 6 from the beginning of the game. Shalpuk keeping his place on court for Russia, for Poland, and also into the action Bednoj now for Poland, staying on for this set. One match will get things underway with the serve. That's the opening point.
One of the few times that Poland haven't hit their serving target, and whenever that's happened, Volkov's reception's been really stable, and I think nearly every time they've been able to side out straight away.
That was a shame for Russia. Sokolov had gone in a little too early. Ball changing direction as he did so. And was able to rescue it, so Poland will take the point. Didn't get any spin on it whatsoever. Bringing the time. That's off the block. There'll be a challenge coming from Russia.
The Russians seem pretty certain of that.
Kovalev saying to the referee, look, the Polish blocker was holding on to his fingers after that one.
I don't think that that's necessarily a good indication.
Well, you mentioned it at the top of the show, didn't you? The fact how the game's changed and the double bluff of saying, go on, I dare you to challenge, because they're making out as if they've touched it. Is that the case here?
Yep. Judging by the Russians' reaction, I'm pretty sure that they did touch it, but it would be interesting if it was the double, triple bluff. I don't know.
No touch given. Interestingly, though, the ball's gone behind the hand, so we don't get to see if there was any movement. Russia not happy with that because of that view. They believe it did catch the pinky. But it's not to be. Nice work by Poland. They Made Russia make a challenge, an unsuccessful one. Poland had the serve all square in this fourth set.
The cameras on the block touch are really high-speed cameras, but they still don't catch everyone. And I tend to agree with the Russians. It did look like there was some movement there, but a little bit too fast for the cameras.
Nice block out from Volkov.
The important hit was the first hit where he didn't have a really good chance to score the point. He played it in the block for his own rebound. Ended up getting another high ball back, but had a slightly better angle on it and could hit off the block and out.
Nice work from Poland. Block out achieved. Nice shell put.
It's a really nice hit from Shalput.
Correct with the serve for Poland. It's just scary when Ruseski is able to go up and do that. You really feel for the defenders who are going to get hurt, potentially.
The whole sound of the attack and the ball hitting the floor is different when he hits it.
Mikhailov for Russia. Generating plenty of intensity where they can. They're taking points from Russia. Shalpuk to serve. Massive block from Ruseski. Gurek did really well. He'd gone in, played the second free ball, gone back out to try and be a threat, so he kept Kliuka with him. Even though Russia appeared to be in trouble, he got away with it with a massive block.
The previous attack by Poland, they had a chance to put three blockers against two attackers and missed it, but the Polish didn't make them pay by hitting into a single block in position 2.
Great blocking from Russia this time. It's Kliuka putting that one down. Poland called the timeout. Russia leading by 2 and by 2 sets to 1 here.
Bednarz was really hitting that into the block, just hoping it would rebound positively for him instead of going up and making a positive action, trying to go block out and trying to get the ball back off the block.
Don't you wait till here, of course they kill you. You're
Really
afraid to spike, you wait till here and then you put the ball on the block. Go high in the block. Come on! Lehmann. On the high ball, why you do like that on the high ball? Be straight. Then you have perfect passing. Perfect passing, take first tempo. Instead of the net.
Going into it,
Everybody
back here, turn the block down and try and get a spin. And simply if you want to get it off the block out to the other side to get a spin out, to get it out that way, or just going to hit straight through it high hands.
I never talk about what I'm doing with the thumb or what the spiker should be doing with their thumbs when they spike. But what I want them to do is to look at the hands of in that case, of the third blocker and try to hit through the hand, maybe to hit one of the signs at the top of this stadium.
It's a big stadium here. Fantastic venue for these finals. Fantastic block from Russia. Way across the net.
That's the first time they've blocked Kurek for a while. The first 3 sets he was hitting 71% in attack. But when the game's so close, maybe you only need to get one block to really change the game.
Unbelievable. It's a block fest for Russia right now. just an enormous block.
That's a pretty nice block for a setter. And judging by Musevski's face there, I think he would have been proud of that one if he'd done it.
Into the technical timeout. Russia with a big lead already in this set.
Seems the feeling in the gym is that they've broken the back of the Polish resistance here. But we've all seen enough volleyball to know that 8-4 is by no means the end of the set.
We've got a triple substitution coming up here now for Poland after their inability to get past Russia's block.
The triple substitution is also a big test for the assistant coach who has to enter it into the tablet that they use on the bench.
Muzeski didn't have to hit that hard, he was up early, got a good angle on the ball, Volkov finding him with ease.
And even though he scored the point, he's giving advice to his setter exactly how he could have made an even better job of that.
Up and across. It's as if suddenly Russia have gone up another gear and said, right, we need to finish this off now. Let's do it here. Let's do it with the blocking. Incredible number of blocks they've made. Kliuka getting the one-on-one.
The last little period before the substitution was obviously they
We had a shit start. Then we came
got
back.
to the point where they could read one match a little bit better. The one on the block against Correct
and maybe they give us a chance.
the first
So
time
about
that,
going
or maybe
back,
the second time that he had a really good
Just
double
go
block
up.
in front of
See
him.
if we're ending on minus, we are minus
One
6, can we go
against
better or not? That's only
Bednosh
goal.
was just a really nice, really well-positioned, good hands. And this one also, they prepared for the double sub. They knew where Muzai likes to hit that ball that goes to short distance. And it wasn't the end of the set at 8-4, but from 10-4, it's pretty tough.
Volkov to serve again for Russia. Oh, Muzeski thought he'd won the point. And it's Poland who take it. A massive stroke of luck as that ball was blocked by Muzeski. Came back and hit Lemansky on the shoulder. And while Muzeski's looking at the floor, suddenly the ball's back on his side.
It's actually rallies like that that can give a team a really good mental boost when you're down a little bit. You win what's essentially a lucky rally, and let's see what happens the next 3 or 4 minutes.
Luka did really well, hiding behind Muzeski as that ball come off the block.
Being big in volleyball can be an advantage, but some moments it can be a disadvantage.
Looking for a net touch here by Muzeski. It wasn't Kliuka, and you can't challenge for the ball catching a player on its way out unless you're at the net blocking.
But what does happen though is if they look at the video, they have to call everything that they see. So if they're looking for the net touch, but they see the ball come off the spiker's shoulder, then they have to give the point to the blocking team in this case. So,
Fortunately for Russia, see the camera's on the other side. It goes past Muzeski, no touch in the net. Russia take the quick.
Vital Heinen wants the angle from the different angle, but he's challenged the net touch, so there's no reason for them to look at the other angle.
Good lead by Poland. First time we've really seen a pipe attack in the match.
I think from either team.
Volkov it is, who puts it away. Oh, good pickup, that's a great chase. Free ball here for Russia. Volvic almost bursts the volleyball through the middle.
It's a nice little action from Russia. That float serve from Kovalev is really, really close to the top of the net. It doesn't have any kind of trajectory on it other than dead flat. Cause problems with the reception. And they get the easy side out. And then the overpass, which Jiska gets hold of, which Jiska blocks.
Absolutely should have hit a point for Volvic, and he's just been shut down by Jiska, the setter for Poland. Incredible block. Good ball here for Poland. Well put away by Shalpuk.
Again, the Russians had a chance to match three blockers against two spikers there, but Volvic chose to commit against the first tempo, and Shalpuk had one-on-one on the outside.
An error from Kliuka. Poland to begin to creep back in this set.
The danger rotation for most teams is with the setter in position one. It's where the opposite and the receiver are both hitting away from their normal positions. And then we saw with Kliuka hitting from position two that he's not comfortable hitting from.
It's been coming. Poland have been going after Kliuka for the whole match. They've been making it difficult for him, as difficult as they possibly can. Actually, he shanked one. It's an ace, a touched ace for Poland. Kliuka it is ducked into the crowd.
Ironically, it's one that he didn't have to take, but the last attack is still in his mind. He wants to make up for it, wants to take a little bit extra court. And instead of making himself feel better, he's made everybody feel worse.
Прием, собрались. Разбирайтесь. Себя либера, возьми на себя больше.
That was a really big chance for Poland there. Free ball, they forced another bad reception, but Shalpuk couldn't keep it in play.
Trouble here for Poland, and that one hits the antenna, and that means it's out of play.
So you go from a possible 13-11 to 15-10. And that's a moment that really hurts when you're fighting to stay in the set.
Liuka to serve again. Good covering. Cheeky little set from Zuzka.
That's not what the Russians thought.
Volkov gets the better of Zuzka at the net. Russia take the point. Credit to them for playing to the whistle. Not trying to referee it themselves after that potential carry from Zuzka midway through the rally.
He was definitely on the limit to what's allowable, but they kept playing, and then the joust Volkov against Zuzka wasn't a real contest, especially as Zuzka couldn't get his feet under the ball.
Second technical timeout. Big lead for Russia. Some of the moments so far from the set. It can be difficult at times to appreciate just how high these players jump and how hard they hit the ball. The net is 2.43 meters. To put that into some sort of context, it's the same height as the crossbar thereabouts in soccer, 8 foot. Those of you that have been watching the World Cup, which is on and making a big impact, these guys are getting head, shoulders, and sometimes their shirt numbers above the net.
We sometimes forget what incredible athletes their volleyball players are. They play the game from 1 centimeter above the ground to 3.60 meters, 3.70 meters. These are guys that in other sports would be considered slow or unagile or unable to move. But they're just incredible the way they can move around in that small space.
Just checking the rotation here. Poland made 3 substitutions halfway through this fourth set, as Russia had made a whole host of blocks in a row. Henan looking on a little perplexed. They're just checking where everyone should be in the rotation. Second referee, Mr. Liu Jiang, just having a chat with the scorers table, making sure that everything is as it should be.
There seems to be some confusion about what exactly that is.
Players know where they are on court. Very well, however, not quite match up with what the scorers table have.
And now we have the reserve referee in on the action, as it were.
So it is to do with the rotation. There are a couple of fail-safes. There's the information in front of the scorer. There's also the information in front of the second referee as to where the numbers are on the court. And they change when the player comes in for a substitution. And Kurek, Lemansky, it was Kurek and Womack went off.
And Bednorz.
And Bednorz as well, yes. They were replaced. They just need to make sure that that information was input properly so they don't. One of the problems could be maybe that Zuzka has been put on in place of the wrong player, and now it's come to light when they're stood on the court and they're about to go and serve. Not spotted at the time.
In the past, that would have been a fault of the scorers table, but in this case, it's the assistant coach who enters that information. So
you did mention, do you remember you mentioned that the pressure on the assistant to make sure they get that right? They're still looking at it. Well, Russia won't be too bold. They've got a big lead here. Just about keeping concentration levels up.
that's the difficult thing in this moment. when you have that break that lasts a little bit longer, there's some kind of confusion. Physically, they don't lose anything in that time, but mentally the focus is definitely at a different level now than it was when they came back after the technical timeout.
Just had a pure shot. Peter Heyman is shaking his finger. He's not happy. He thinks the rotation's wrong.
The interesting thing is that he can actually see what's on the official scoreboard. Score sheet.
We're back underway. Poland back into the action and no siding out from them. Side. No trouble putting that one on the field. Into the block and into the antenna for Russia to take the point.
Volkov feels he was a little bit lucky there, judging by his reaction. Again, they're a tiny bit out of rhythm, just enough that he can't get a proper swing at it. We could get it into the block for the block out.
That's a nice swing by the side.
His last attack, they flashed up the graphic that it was at 3 meters 34. And I think that one's gone over Musevski, so confidence a little bit higher than that.
Decent angle that by Volkov. Looking like Poland are going to be able to find a way back in at the moment. Serving pressure not quite doing it for them. Oh dear. Mix up. Wojcicka in shell put.
Wasn't a really good option from Jiska there. Right, standing in the middle of the approach, tries for a super fast set.
Musevski just picking his spot, throwing it across his body.
Yeah, that timing is amazing. Lemansky jumped after Musevski and still was on the way down when the ball went past him. I don't think I've ever seen Mikhailov float serve before. And I guess that's why.
Great serve, that gives Poland a free ball. Quick ball and wide, beats Russia's block.
You can see the effectiveness of that, what we call a hybrid serve, where the receivers don't know if it's going to be a topspin serve or a float serve. They can get caught in no man's land. Not quite in position for topspin, not quite in position for a float serve. In this case, an overpass and point for Poland.
Back to his best, good swing from him.
No frills, no fuss, just straight on the floor.
He always reminds me of a player almost like he's enjoying the game like he did when he was a child. He just loves the game so much. Everything he does, he enjoys. He's always there for the team. As you mentioned earlier on, there's never any frustration about him. He never gets upset. He's always positive.
He's a great professional. He's a great player. you can see if you spend time off the court in their trainings, he's the last guy out there stretching and rolling out and doing his prevention work, and he's a really good player and a really good example for all young players.
Polanski for Poland. It's looking ever more likely that Russia are going to take this match. 3 points now to get their first win on the board.
There's a great reaction from Kliuka there. He almost got it back over the net after it's rebounded off 2 players. He's tried to spin it over with his left hand and nearly managed.
He was just a little bit worried that Muzeski might be falling on top of him.
That would worry me a lot.
Excellent work from Volvic.
In the last set, Kovalev seems to have got a much better connection with the middles. And perhaps not coincidentally, they're going to win this set.
They started off brightly, Russia using the middle to take their 2-0 lead. They stopped using it. Poland came back, took the third. They've gone back to it here, and a combination of middles and great serving. And Russia now on the verge of taking this match. It's set and match point as Kovalev goes back to the serving line. Well saved. That was a swing under immense pressure.
Reception was bad again. The serve for Kovalev really makes problems for the Polish team. But Slivka that time could squeeze it past the block and into the open space.
Back to the serving line. Plenty of side-out opportunities here for Russia. 3 front court attacking options available. Hit the floor, it's all over. Russia have taken the set 25-17 and they beat Poland by 3-1.
An easy side out to finish it. Kliuka with the tip in a situation where they'd had problems earlier in this set. They'll be really happy with the win. I think they may have had a little bit in reserve. They didn't need to dig completely to the bottom to win this game. The next one will be tougher, but they have 1 foot in the semi-finals now, and they'll be happy about that.
That was how it was done. Kliuka with the tip. Poland unable to slide a hand under the ball to keep it in play. Shushka's best efforts come to nothing. Poland, despite their best efforts, unable to get past Russia.
Despite a great performance from Kurek, I have to say.
Definitely played very well, but that's a string of blocks. Usually enough, a string of blocks from Russia. Kurek only got blocked once, and then he got substituted out. As you mentioned, he's having 71% efficiency in the first couple of sets. So maybe he might feel a little bit hard done by, but that being said, it's back to the drawing board for Poland. With another game to go. They know they need to win that now to have any chance to go through. As you look at the tail of the match, in terms of the spikes, blocks and serves, and a massive tally for Russia, 12 block points for them. That's really big.
And 6 of those in the 4th set.
Fantastic performance from Russia. I'll be very happy with the way they've got things done, and also having Volvic back in, and also having Mihailov back in, who we can hear from in just a moment. Let's hear what Mihailov has to say. He's down on centre court and ready to tell us and give us his thoughts on the game.
Hey Maxime, from the third to the fourth set, what did you change to make it successful again?
I think Poland stopped to play because we play today not very good. We must play after tomorrow more better.
So the impression in front of that crowd is to be more powerful, to bring more energy on the court?
For sure.
All the best for tomorrow.
About pressing?
For tomorrow, all the best.
Tomorrow. Sorry, I don't understand what.
No, it was just a good wish for tomorrow. So all the best for tomorrow.
Good luck.
Thanks, spasiba.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, excellent to hear from Mikhailov talking English. It's not often that we get to hear that, and we love to give him spasiba, all the best for him. A great result for Russia. And interestingly, Mikhailov saying they didn't play that well.
I think I know what he means. We talked about it through the call that they weren't able to find the first tempo in the way that they expected. A lot of the tips that we saw, we can imagine that that's a smart play or seeing a spot in the court that's open. But most often it's a set that's just slightly out of rhythm for the hitter. We had a lot of them for both sides today, but perhaps a little bit more from the Russians. So they'll be looking to, or they'll need to improve that for the next game.
Improvements required all round. This is where Russia were hitting the ball from. And it's very impressive to see. And talking of impressive, here are the highlights from the match. Well, a fantastic game to get things going here at the finals in Lille. The first game having been played, Russia with the 3-1 victory, and coming up we've got France against Brazil. It's a rerun of the World League finals from Curitiba in 2017. And it should be an absolute cracker. We can't wait for that one. We've got plenty more games to come during the course of the week. But for now, though, from all of us here, it's time to say goodbye. We hope you've enjoyed the volleyball. From myself, Clayton Lucas, Sir Mark Lebedew, it's the end of the broadcast. Thanks for being part of the game.